There are growing concerns Australia is falling behind in renewable energy due to the political impasse over climate change. China has overtaken the United States as the preferred place to invest in clean technologies, attracting $35 billion last year alone. The head of GE Energy, one of the world's biggest power generation companies, says investment dollars are moving to countries with clear long-term policies. Michael Troy reports.
Despite the failure of the Copenhagen talks on a climate change agreement, the business of producing clean energy has been powering along. Wind turbines and solar panels are now a fairly common sight in Australia, and worldwide, clean energy investment has grown by 230% in 5 years. But the global financial crisis has changed the funding landscape.
The United States became the largest wind market in the world in 2008. Came out of nowhere because the policy was good, the economy was good, but then the recession hit and the demand for electricity was diminished.
John Krenecki is the president of GE Energy, one of the world's biggest power generation companies, and he says the policy vacuum in the US is having a big impact.
China set a very long-term goal of 20% renewables by 2020, and in 12 months the U.S. went from number 1 to number 3. China became number 1. There's over 70 wind companies in China because they see a big market over the next decade. And the U.S. is very, very short-term in duration. So with that inconsistent policy, things change very quickly.
Other countries have quickly moved to capture investment dollars. The United Kingdom hopes to corner the market for offshore wind turbines, while Germany is now the leader in the solar sector. The renewable energy industry here remains in limbo, with the government unable to get its emissions trading scheme through the Senate. Without a clear set of rules, even Australian investment companies in clean technology prefer overseas opportunities.
The world needs clean energy. It has to reduce the amount of pollution. And there are a lot of companies, maybe not a lot in Australia, but internationally there are a lot of companies that have great leverage to what is going to be a huge amount of investment.
Tim Buckley is the managing director of ArcX, which is a clean energy investment fund. He says they're frustrated they cannot safely invest in their own backyard.
There is a lot happening, and I find that inspirational when I look at companies in China that have growth profiles of 50 to 100% per annum, and that they have huge investments coming through. They're investing in technology and they're investing in plant and equipment in orders of magnitude that dwarf any Australian company.
He says many countries are also investing in renewables to ensure energy security, and because a power generation crisis is looming.
The British government has finally woken up to that. There's an astonishing figure that 40% of the British electricity generating capacity has to be replaced in the next 5 years. 40% has to be replaced. That involves a huge amount of investment.
While Australia has no shortage of generation capacity, GE Energy says it is willing to invest a lot more on renewable energy if a long-term policy is passed into law.
Customers here are willing to experiment and try new technologies, so there's everything to like here, very little not to like.
Except the lack of clear direction on climate change policy, which won't change at least until after the next election.